Okay, so I am seeing,
Hang on.
I think everyone has it by now. Yeah, like Alexis said, if you don't have it, make sure to take notes.
Dr. Mimi, just so you know, we can see your Zoom settings open.
Yes.
You can. Okay. Now you can.
Okay, great. So, okay, so like I said, we're going to start each morning with our Qualcomm robotics session. And this portion of Tech Trek was sponsored by the Qualcomm Corporation, which is located in San Diego. Qualcomm is a company of inventors, and it has sponsored the camp because they believe in inspiring the next generation of engineers and inventors, which is all of you. So understanding a little bit about Qualcomm is going to help you take on the role of an inventor and engineer over the next week as you design and construct an IoT, Internet of Things, inspired wearable tech invention. So what is Qualcomm? Qualcomm was founded in 1985 by Irwin Jacobs and 6 other engineers, and their name is derived from Quality Communications. They're a company of inventors. They basically invent the smart in smartphones, and they employ people from all over the world. They were also responsible for developing CDMA technology. This stands for Code Division Multiple Access, and it paved the way for the smartphones of today. So CDMA technology is really what put Qualcomm on the map for designing and manufacturing telecommunication products. And as any scientist knows, it was not without taking risks. So in the 1980s, the Qualcomm company took a risk to develop and push CDMA technology for phones, but they were not the first to come up with this idea. So the idea was actually discovered in the 1940s by Hedy Lamarr and George Antho. So they were inspired by the way that musical notes were arranged and theorized that multiple frequencies could be used to send a single radio transmission. They called this frequency hopping, and the goal was that it could prevent a radio signal from being jammed. So they patented the idea and they gave it to the US government for use in World War II, but it was basically ignored and the patent eventually expired. So the constant connectivity that's made possible by technology could have been lost to history, but in the 1980s, as the telecom industry focused its resources on one technology, Qualcomm wondered if there was something better. So in a daring departure, they began experimenting with CDMA, which is a concept that would basically change the face of wireless communication. CDMA is, in the 1980s, the telecommunication industry focused on TDMA, which is time division multiple access. But there were problems with the technology because it only allowed a certain number of users on a single wave frequency at one time. So it resulted in slow connections and dropped calls. It was basically like the internet was having a traffic jam. So CDMA, on the other hand, it opened up the frequency spectrum and it assigned a code that's scrambled and reconstructed at the receiving end. So it meant that multiple users could speak at the same time, which allowed a lot more conversations to happen on the same amount of spectrum. Pushing this technology was a risk for Qualcomm, but as any inventor or scientist knows, even seemingly crazy things can lead to great discoveries. So here's Irwin Jacobs discussing the moment that put Qualcomm on the map.
Oh, hang on. Oh, sorry about that.
That was okay.
I need to stop them first. Stop, Irwin. All right. I forgot to share the sound. Let me get back. All right. Take it back. And go, Irwin.
industry had looked and seen that the cellular business was really growing, but staying with analog with first generation FM radios was not the right solution. How do we go digital? Companies around the world had looked at CDMA, played with it a while, and they had all thrown it away, and had gone with TDMA or FDMA. One of the things did catch their attention, that rather than perhaps a 3-to-1 improvement in the number of customers you could accommodate in a given antenna in a given bandwidth, with CDMA, we came to the point that it would be 10 to 20. It would provide a significant economic advantage by being able to get many more users into the same amount of spectrum. I thought there was about a 50% probability that somebody was going to be able to raise their hand and say, you forgot about this, and this is why it's not going to work. Nobody did. So the next step we had to do was build a demonstration system. We worked day and night to prepare 2 base stations and a mobile terminal for a demonstration. We knew we couldn't wait too long because the industry was rushing ahead with TDMA, and if we missed that window, we'd have to wait for a 3rd generation. And so we had to move quickly. In September, I had to make a decision whether to send out invitations for people to come in to see our demonstration at the beginning of November or not. And probably 85 or 90% of the engineers felt we better wait. Decided to go ahead and send out the invitations. Beginning in November, everybody showed up here in San Diego. We had about 120 people, and we had several people make presentations on CDMA. Then I was making the last presentation and getting ready to send everybody out when one of the engineers in the back of the room began to wave at me and keep talking. And so I kept talking. Being a university professor, adding 45 minutes or 50 minutes to a talk is easy. It was about 50 minutes later, another wave came that it was okay to send people out, luckily. Probably another half an hour, people would have realized something was wrong, and there would have been no Qualcomm.
That was a really great illustration of the story of Qualcomm. I hope you all enjoyed that because I enjoyed watching it. So if we go to the next slide. Okay, fabulous. Qualcomm is a fabless semiconductor company, which means that Qualcomm produces the technology, but other companies make the chips. So Qualcomm makes money in 2 ways. One, by creating chips, which are chipsets used in IoT devices, and also through patents. Patents protect an inventor's ideas. Qualcomm has over 6,000, which is a lot. One of those most notable patents, though, is airplane mode, which I'm sure we've all heard of. Since Qualcomm makes the chips that go into our smart devices, they work with major phone manufacturers and cell phone carriers throughout the world, and they've become a leader in developing 5G technology. So how does Qualcomm make money through patents, and what really is a patent? Well, patents protect an inventor's ideas. So if someone wants to produce a product that is patented, they have to pay the patent owner or the inventor of that product for the rights. So when an inventor applies for a patent, they have to be really, really detailed in their description of how their invention, which could be a device or a product, they must be really descriptive in how it works and include sketches and schematics, which are drawings that describe the build process and the details of the device. So although we're not going to be applying for patents this week, you will be creating sketches of your design ideas and creating detailed schematics to explain how your automated tech invention is going to work. So the dishwashing machine is an example of a well-known patent. The story goes that Josephine Cochran was a wealthy socialite in Illinois, and she got the idea to invent a dishwasher because she employed servants to perform housework for her mansion, but she started washing her own fine china herself because she discovered that some of her servants had accidentally chipped the china. So she didn't like washing dishes, and she decided to build a machine that would wash them for her. So the result was the first commercially successful dishwasher, which she patented in 1886. And previous attempts at dishwashers had basically used scrubbers to physically scrub the dishes, but Cochrane's design was more effective because it used water pressure to clean the dishes instead of a scrub. So with her patent secure, she founded Cochrane's Crescent Washing Machine Company. And because the machine was too expensive for most households, she sold most of her dishwashers to things like hotels and restaurants, so bigger corporations. Since the introduction of CDMA, Qualcomm has come a long way in wireless technology and is at the forefront of 5G technology. So what is 5G? G stands for generation. So 1G was first generation, 2G was second generation, etc. 1G were our first cell phones. So they were just analog, which means you could only call and talk to someone. The phone didn't have any other capabilities. But with CDMA technology came 2G. So this technology enabled the first digital phone and allowed people to call, text, as well as send pictures. 3D was the first smartphone. So people were now able to connect to the internet and use GPS. And GPS is a huge thing. We use it, most of us use it nearly every day, if not very often. 4G, users could download HD movies, and with 5G, people will see a lot faster connection and download speeds. So here is a video telling about the different cell generations.
Every new generation of wireless networks delivers faster speeds and more functionality to our smartphones. 1G brought us the very first cell phones, 2G let us text for the first time, 3G brought us online, and 4G delivered the speeds that we enjoy today. But as more users come online, 4G networks have just about reached the limit of what they're capable of at a time when users want even more data for their smartphones and devices. Now we're headed toward 5G, the next generation of wireless. It will be able to handle 1,000 times more traffic than today's networks, and it'll be up to 10 times faster than 4G LTE. Just imagine downloading an HD movie in under a second, and then let your imagination run wild. 5G will be the foundation for virtual reality, autonomous driving, the Internet of Things, and stuff we can't even yet imagine.
I don't know what happened there. It did that last time too.
It's just going to say imagine, so it's not really a big deal. So the bytes per second for each generation goes up tremendously. So if we can go to the next slide, that would be great.
Every new generation of wireless networks.
Oh, is that the slide we're on? Or I think you're one slide ahead. Oh, there we go. Okay, great. So the bytes per second that each generation has just goes up with every generation. So 3G processes 1,000 bytes per second, 4G 1 million, and 5G is going to do 1 billion bytes per second. So imagine what the world can do with those faster connection speeds. With high speeds, better reliability, and negligible latency, which means less delays, 5G is going to expand the mobile ecosystem into just whole new realms. And it's going to impact every industry, making transportation safer, making remote healthcare more possible, helping with precision agriculture and digitized logistics, and a lot more. So 5G opened the door to the Internet of Things, which is abbreviated as IoT. The faster connections have allowed dumb objects, quote unquote dumb objects, to become smart objects. So because faster Wi-Fi networks are so common now, things like refrigerators, washing machines, and cars can include internet access with software to make use of that internet connection. For example, if you scanned your groceries as you put them into the refrigerator and pulled them out for use, each item could tell the refrigerator what it was, the expiration date, and other useful information. And the refrigerator could actually collect that data and organize this information to send it to you. So you might get emails with recipe ideas or a shopping list. So you can now go ahead and open your notebook to page 8. As you watch the video, think about how 5G could transform the world and how it could benefit the world. And think about if you could create an IoT invention, what would it be? And you can be very creative on this.
What is 5G, and what makes it so different from anything we've ever experienced? 5G is the next generation of wireless, that will redefine the ways we connect to the world around us. 5G will make possible a connectivity fabric that weaves everything and everyone together, creating new business and economic opportunities around the globe. The new innovations behind 5G will deliver data faster, with less lag and even more reliability. To better understand 5G, it is important to know a little about radio waves and how they work. Your smartphone and other wireless devices use very specific frequencies on the radio frequency spectrum to send and receive data. As we use more devices and data, those radio frequencies have gotten crowded. Think about a highway. As traffic builds up, it is important to upgrade or even rebuild the highway system to handle more cars and speed the flow of traffic. It's the same idea with wireless communications. The engineers behind 5G have invented new ways to utilize radio spectrum so that the network can handle 100 times more data than 4G, faster and more reliably. This new capacity is possible because of two important technological breakthroughs. The first is the use of millimeter waves, short radio waves in higher radio frequency bands. For decades, researchers believed it was impossible to use these bands of spectrum for cellular. High-frequency millimeter waves don't travel well through objects or buildings. Even leaves on a tree can block a signal. In 5G, engineers have broken this barrier, opening a giant express lane for data. The second breakthrough is massive MIMO, which stands for multiple input, multiple output. Massive MIMO base stations have dozens more antennas, and they're able to send out concentrated, hyper-precise beam-form signals to a particular user. These beams can bounce from base station to base station to relay signals around obstacles and avoid interruptions. Another important 5G invention opens new pathways for the kinds of data that just can't wait to prioritize critical data and allow it to transmit almost immediately. 5G will redefine
Dr.
work,
Mimi, we don't see
education,
the video.
healthcare, and deliver a new level of connectivity to rural communities. It's taken almost 4 decades and tens of billions of dollars in research and development to get to 5G.
You have to go back to the YouTube tab, I think.
Or to possibilities we haven't even imagined yet.
Sorry about that. I walked away from it and I went away from the screen. Let me get back to it. I was trying to go in and open, let people in.
So
All right. hang
Yeah,
on.
I think you might have shared your desktop instead of a single tab.
I did. Let me do this one. No, that's not the one I want to share. I've got too many things open. All right, let's share that one. See if I can share that. Share that. No. This one.
oh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So can everyone hear me still?
Yes.
Yep.
Great. So now we can go
Hang on.
to. Great. Okay. So let's think about which generation goes with each functionality. So 1G goes with analog voice calls. How about 2G? What do you all think? You can just yell it out
Or type it in the chat.
or type it in the chat.
Digital voice calls, text, and picture messaging.
Yep. How about 3G?
First, smartphones with mobile internet and GPS tracking.
Right, exactly. How about 4G?
Surfing the web and streaming HD videos online with smartphones.
And 5G?
Fastest wireless speeds, download movies in seconds, and instantaneous responses.
Very good. Very good. So now, as we mentioned, 5G has paved the way for the Internet of Things, and page 9 in your notebook discusses the technology in more detail. The paragraph, which is shown at the top, says, imagine a world where cars, thermostats, mobile devices, appliances, and many other items could collect and exchange data wirelessly and respond to your needs in an intelligent way. This is possible with the Internet of Things. Qualcomm is helping to make IoT a reality by inventing and engineering the technologies of IoT. Those inventions, in turn, open the door for other IoT-based inventions in consumer electronics, smart homes, smart cities, and voice and music. So we can go ahead and watch this video right now
Let me just
to learn more about IoT.
hang on a second. Let me check and make sure. Yep. All right. I have it.
Hi, I'm Emily. I draw cartoons. Today, I'm going to learn about the Internet of Things. Meet Don from Qualcomm. He's going to teach me about the Internet of Things and the evolution of our growing smart world. So Don, the Internet of Things, how smart can a thing really be?
From smartphones to smart homes, smart cars, and even smart cities, the technology is actually advancing pretty fast. However, there's one thing missing from this whole picture, and that is connectivity.
Okay, but how does this actually work? Like if I were gonna draw this out.
All of these things are becoming smarter because people are putting chips inside of things. So let's call that chip a brain. So step 2 in that process is for that brain to program tasks. But step 3 in this whole process is how does that device not only program tasks, but also interact with other devices, making it more connected and then making your world around you thus smarter. In Qualcomm, with our advanced connectivity technologies from advanced Bluetooth to Wi-Fi 11AX, to actually wireless connectivity with 5G, that is the connectivity fabric that's actually benefiting you as well as society as a whole.
How would this smart world really look in the real world?
Why don't I give you a scenario? Okay, so you're planning a dinner party. Your smart oven is telling you what temperature, what time you have to put the meal in, all those good things. But because now it's connected to other devices in your surroundings, it can actually tell your smartwatch you can go for a run while your meal is cooking and still getting back enough time to be able to make sure your meal doesn't burn.
It sounds like I'm really going to be able to outsource a lot of my own personal brain, which is great, but what are the larger implications of this?
Imagine if you can actually save energy by having not only a smart thermostat, but that thermostat interacting with other devices in your home to make sure that you're saving energy. So that's what really creating a smarter world with these smarter and connected devices really means from a broader good perspective.
So Don, these things can think, but can they love?
You should hug your oven every once in a while.
But not when it's on.
But not when it's on.
I've made that mistake.
Right, because you know love can burn.
Hi.
So the Internet of Things is classified into four categories, which are consumer electronics, smart cities, smart homes, and voice and music. So a consumer electronics example is like a fitness tracker, which can collect the number of steps you take and your heart rate and a bunch of other things. A smart city example is the use of traffic signals with sensors that can monitor traffic and adapt to changing traffic conditions, which can solve traffic issues. Smart homes, and smart home example is an app on your phone to control the lights in your house or open or close the garage door or see what items are in your fridge. And an example from the voice and music IoT is the ability to connect Bluetooth headphones to your phone to listen to your music or make phone calls without compromising sound quality, even if you're a short distance away from your home or your phone. Another example is Alexa too, which uses commands to do what you ask. So your IoT wearable tech invention project will fall under the category of consumer electronics. So this weekend, I want you to think about how you could connect your hat to a sensor or what smart decision you would want it to make. So take a couple of minutes to answer the questions on page 9 in your notebook, and you're going to use the responses next week as you design your wearable tech invention. And you can feel free to please unmute yourself or share some ideas in the chat would actually probably be better than unmuting, but please feel free to and be creative. Just think about what you want it to do and what you value.
All right, I see some ideas in the chat.
These are really cool. They're coming in so fast, I can barely read them all.
Dr. Mimi, I agree with your answer.
And the right amount too.
Very true.
It would make things a lot easier, that's for sure.
Ooh, how about a bookshelf that tells you already read that book?
Oh.
They keep track of the books you read. That's the one I want.
A smart sofa, that's really cool. I like that.
You mean one that tells you to get up off of it and take a walk? That one?
Kyra said a mirror that registers all the clothes in your closet, and on any given day you can input an overall idea or color you want to go for, and it'll give you an outfit. I love that. I would definitely use that because I cannot put together outfits at all.
That's a great idea.
Faucets that can help regulate the amount of water you use. That's great. I love all these ideas. Yes, definitely. Very good. So now we can go on to page 10. So we can do these together. We're just going to go over the answers to these questions. So the name of Qualcomm stands for what? And you can put it in the chat.
Or you can shout it out.
Or you can shout it out. Quality communication. Yep, exactly. Qualcomm was started in what year by who?
1985.
By who? Erwin Jacobs. I heard Erwin Jacobs. Yes. Qualcomm is a company of what?
And it's not investors. So if it's not investors, what do you think it is instead?
Inventors.
Yes, thank you, Anushka. Very good.
Qualcomm invents the what the world loves.
Technology.
Uh-huh.
And then what does Qualcomm make its money through?
Chipsets and patents.
Yeah, nice, Sophia.
Exactly. How many patents does it have? Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped one. A patent is something that protects what?
Your ideas?
Your invention.
Ideas or inventions. It's also called intellectual property is another name for ideas. How many patents does Qualcomm have? Over how many?
Over 6,000.
One invention that Qualcomm patented is what? That really the really memorable one we talked about earlier.
Airplane mode.
And what percent of Qualcomm employees are engineers, and what percent are non-engineers?
70% to 30%.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Yep.
And IoT stands for what?
Internet of Things. Invention of things.
Yay. Okay.
Yay, nice job.
So I hope you all are excited to take on the role of Qualcomm inventor during the next week. You're going to be traveling down the path to invention as you construct and design your own IoT wearable tech invention, that hat that we talked about. So although you're not going to be applying to patent, you will go through the engineering design process to identify a need, to build a prototype, to name your invention, and to share your final product with other people. So I'm very excited to begin this journey with you all, and I hope you're excited as well.
I just wanted to introduce what the camp challenges are.
Right.
Yes.
So if we could back up a little bit, that would be great.
Yes, thank you. Do you want to do that, or should I talk about that?
No, she can do it. Let Alexis do it.
That's what I
All right, so hi everyone. My name is Alexis Kim, and I'm one of the social media coordinators and also a build coach for this camp. And I just want to introduce you to camp challenges, which is like a small side activity that consists of daily challenges for you to do with your breakout room team throughout the week. So this is a completely optional thing, but it's for those of you who want to do something a little more extra, something, go above and beyond. So if you have any free time or you want to really challenge yourself and your teammates, you can go ahead and try to complete these challenges. So there are a few rules for these camp challenges. If you could go to the next slide, Dr. Mimi. Okay, so I have all the instructions down here, but you'll be able to read more specifically on these because I'll be sharing the team folders with you that have all these in them. But for now, I just want to mention that if you do complete all the challenges on time, and if every single member in your team does complete the challenges, then you would be able to receive a prize at the end of camp. So that's something to look forward to. But again, your goal is not to get a prize, but to really just bond with your team and have a good time. So these are a few challenges. The first challenge is a freebie. Everyone has this already done, so don't worry about it. If we could go through all the next few challenges, we'll just go through these briefly for now, and you'll be able to see these slides again in your team folder that I will be sharing with you over the weekend. All right, and this camp challenge check is for the coaches only, so don't need to worry about that. And I believe now we're going to be going into breakout rooms and introducing our first challenge.
Yep, we'll be doing that. And so let me just, when you get into your breakout rooms, you're basically going to complete the Who Am I activity. Social coaches, you should have this available to you in the day 0 orientation folder. And then over the weekend between now and Monday, you're going to create a video introducing yourself on Flipgrid. And it's not very long, but it's just to tell people a little bit about who you are. And then these are the instructions that you'll get into a little bit more